Hey, you, the person running a meeting. I'm talking to you. I really hate to be the one to break it to you, but you need to hear it. Everyone hates your meetings. It's true, everyone. However, I do have some good news. For the most part, it's not you. It's the dynamic and lack of clarity and structure. Once you understand why everybody hates your meetings, you're going to be better prepared to make some changes. Ready to work on your growth edge? Let's climb. Meetings, like any other type of messaging, consist of three parts: the sender, the message, and the receiver. Any message that fails to take these into account will be ineffective. Meetings aren't any different. So let's use a senior staff meeting as our example. And to start, I want to talk about the psychology of the sender and the receivers, also known as everyone in attendance. So you have the boss. They spend most of their time doing boss stuff, saying boss things, thinking boss thoughts. They say it's lonely at the top for a reason, because they spend most of this time alone, isolated. The senior staff meeting is their chance to be with their teams, back in the mix, get some interaction with their crew while talking about important business stuff. This is what leaders love to do. They love to be with their teams. Then you have the rest of the senior staff. Now, their mindset is completely different. Meetings remove leaders from their teams. They're going from being the boss in their section to being just another attendee in a meeting. Leaders want to lead, not sit in meetings. These senior leaders are also in a peer group. More than likely, they have their own dynamic where they are able to safely talk about their troubles with customers, their teams, and you. Yes, they complain and crack jokes about you too. It happens. Just understand it's a thing. It will always be a thing. You need to accept it and just move on. There's also another part of this dynamic as well. This group is made up of people who would rather be somewhere else than having to be on their best behavior in an environment where, if they are unprepared for a question, they could be made to feel inadequate in front of their peers. The same dynamic exists in every meeting for all attendees. Substitute leader with independent employee, and the dynamic is roughly the same. The employee would rather be working than sitting in a meeting. They know what to expect in their daily work, and when they lose that control, it's stressful. So here's the setting for just about every meeting. There's a group of independent people being forced into a subordinate role where they could be embarrassed in front of their peer group. And leading this is a person who spends most of their time isolated, who is excited to see their team, wondering why no one wants to be there, and getting frustrated that the meetings aren't more productive. Does that sound familiar? This is what every single leader is up against when it comes to meetings. So knowing this is the case, and there's nothing you can do to change this dynamic, the onus is on you to ensure the meetings bring value to those in attendance so they feel it's a good use of their time when they are in the meeting. Let's get to work on building a better message, also known as the meeting. Axiom number one: if you don't need to have a meeting, then don't have one. You have to identify the reason, purpose, and expected benefit of the meeting for all attendees. If the meeting is solely for your benefit, that's a problem. Seriously, if your meeting is just for your teams to tell you what they are doing, that could be in an email. Axiom number two: no one wants to be in a meeting, so you have to structure your meetings in a way that provides value for the attendees. You need to create your meetings in a way that matches purpose and structure to create values for the attendees. Meeting purposes, they fall into three broad categories. Informational: you have information for the team, they have information for you, or they have information for each other. Decision: you or the team are making a decision, and then you're taking action to implement that decision. And then there's a hybrid. It's going to be part informational and part decision. Then there's the meeting structure. You have cyclical, it repeats on a consistent basis with the same purpose and agenda. Topical, scheduled in advance with a specific purpose. And impromptu, short notice with a specific purpose. We can build any meeting imaginable from these foundations. Let's run through some examples. Monthly financial meeting, it's cyclical, informational. Benefits meeting with HR, topical, hybrid. We're going to learn about the benefits and then we're going to make a decision. Project planning meeting, it's a topical decision. Axiom number three: attendees need to know what to expect in a meeting. Let's say you have a standing info meeting with your team every week. Week in and week out, it's always informational. Then one week, you decide you want the team to make a decision on one of the topics you're always talking about in this meeting. And then you're shocked people aren't ready or even able to make a decision on the spot. Remember, the attendees would rather be somewhere else and they need to know what to expect in a meeting so they can be prepared. That way, they won't be embarrassed in front of their peers. And finally, axiom number 4, meetings have a start and a stop time for a reason. Do not be late to your own meetings. Don't be early to your meetings. If your meeting is scheduled for 1 hour, it needs to be done in an hour. If you don't stick to the schedule, you're showing complete disrespect towards your team and their time. Remember, these are the individuals who are out making your business run. So those are the basics to creating better functioning meetings for you and your team. Now, it won't change the dynamics, but your teams will get more value from the meetings, which will make people more likely to actively participate. So that's it for today. Hey, we'll see you next climb.